William Friedkin. He did Cruising. I was trying to watch this again this weekend, but I have seen it like within the last year because Arrow just cleaned it up and put it back out on 4K, and it looks gorgeous. It's about a New York police officer basically goes undercover in the. It's not just the gay subculture in New York, but the S&M, like really hardcore S&M leather stuff. He goes undercover in that community to try and find a serial killer who's killing a bunch of gay guys. And for 1980, this was some bold, bold stuff. And it stars Al Pacino, Paul Sorvino, and Karen Allen from Raiders of the Lost Ark. It was a very controversial movie when it came out because the gay community did not want the world seeing them portrayed this way, because Cruising is, they go into a bar called the Mine Shaft on jockstrap night. And like, if you've never seen any other movies with gay characters, then, and this is your big mainstream movie, you know, Al Pacino, and then you're going to think all gay people are like this. That's why gay people, I think, were nervous about this movie, because they didn't want this to be what people saw for the first time ever in a big mainstream movie, and I get that. But now that we're decades removed from that controversy, this movie's a really good American giallo film. Have you guys seen it?
It would almost be a giallo, I think. There's like a lot of like police procedural type, stuff in there that kind of keeps it from that. But yeah, definitely a giallo-esque. It feels that way. Yeah, I remember. I always want to Bell, but I want to say Arthur Bell.
Yeah, that was the critic.
Art Bell.
Not Art Bell, Arthur Bell.
Not Art Bell, but Arthur Bell, right.
Yeah.
Little different.
Very different.
Yeah, that was like behind the whole, or, the head of the whole group that was like, don't do this.
Right. Village Voice.
But
he was with them.
Yeah, but I mean, like you said, now removed from it, I mean, I think it's so... the atmosphere, the feeling really, really puts you there, even if this isn't something the way that, people want to be presented. I think that I've done a lot of things that I might not want to be presented as either.
Yeah.
But putting you in that sort of scenario and kind of, it gives you a wild, greasy time.
Oh, interesting choice of words, Arthur. When I was researching this, well, actually, I don't, even though we're not giving this one a full review, I was watching some stuff about it today because I just wanted to know some more. I fell into a cruising rabbit hole. I guess that's an interesting choice of words too. But I heard that William Friedkin, very straight man, but he was fascinated by the gay subculture, but he also didn't know very much about it. And so he and his director of photography for Cruising went to the bar, the Mine Shaft, which is a real bar, on jockstrap night. And they wouldn't let them in unless they only wore jockstraps. So William Friedkin and the DP on this film wore jockstraps and went into this bar for research. That counts for something. You get some bonus points for wearing a jockstrap on jockstrap night at the Mine Shaft. And the commentary, I've listened to the commentary from Friedkin, and he says this was what he experienced. So I think if you watch Cruising as this very straight man's naive research, cursory, surface level, one night at the Mine Shaft research, this is what he thought the gay community was like. It's kind of interesting in that respect. Also, I have no doubt there were places like this, and you could experience what you see in this movie on select nights, isolated places, yeah.
Yeah. I'm not going to say that necessarily.
Policing your thoughts, Arthur?
I'm going to remind Floridians of the Parliament House. But anyway, I am going to say that I heard the money for this was mafia money.
I've heard William Friedkin has ties.
Had ties, yeah, mafia ties, and that's part of why, like, they weren't like they had problems with them showing certain things about the bars and the areas, the locations, because the mob was running them. And so,
Mm,
like, they didn't want to show that part of the reason why, they didn't have a place to go, or that they were so sequestered, was because of, I'm trying to remember all the things, but it was basically like the mob wanted the movie this way,
right.
you
Yeah.
know? So,
Yeah, I think the mine shaft in particular was owned by people of the persuasion,
yeah,
the mafia y
yeah,
type. And I think that perhaps Friedkin was beholden to the people.
to them, yeah.
So I do think it's fair to take all the criticism of Cruising into account when you watch it and you review it and assess it. But I think I think you should try and watch it with an open mind in every way, because it's a good film. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm not offended by it personally. I find it very interesting, especially the theories about it, because the killer, his identity is, I don't, if I recall, not really 100% explained who it is in the
Yeah.
end. And I know that every time you see him, he's played by a different actor, and they even have different people doing the voice of him, and it's like really voiceover. It sounds just like a Jalo whenever he speaks.
Yeah.
And some people think that Al Pacino is the killer. And they even think that Karen Allen's character doesn't actually exist, that she's just in his imagination.
Huh.
And the next time I watch it, that's the theory I'm going to have in mind to see if it holds any water. Because this is a movie, like a lot of Friedkin movies, that when it came out, it was not appreciated or it was dismissed. And then decades later, like Sorcerer, like this, it's really discovered, and this movie's really become something that a lot of film people talk about today. So I highly recommend Cruising. I dig it. It's fun.
Yeah.
Great soundtrack too, like punk
Great soundtrack.
kind of music. Beautiful looking, just creepy and eerie. And
Nighttime.
also, man, this movie's got so much interesting backstory. Something else I ran into today when I fell into that little rabbit hole. There's a guy in The Exorcist who plays like a doctor or a morgue worker. I can't remember.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that guy was arrested for killing people.
Yeah.
And I think Friedkin went to visit this guy, and that's what started
That's
his
the story.
interest
Yeah.
in this movie.
That's right. It was the radiologist
Yes.
in the Exorcist.
Yes.
Yeah. And it turned it out, and then he went back and actually visited him in jail
Yep.
and talked to him. Yeah.
So it's kind of inspired by real events too. Interesting movie. Interesting movie.